In today's video, we're talking about the South Mountain Justice Court. The South Mountain Justice Court is a misdemeanor court in Maricopa County in Arizona. We see a lot of people charged with crimes out of this particular jurisdiction. And so today we're going to talk about the court's jurisdiction. What is the geographic area over which this court has control? We'll tell you more about the prosecutors who are in charge of prosecuting crimes. We'll tell you a little bit more about the judge himself, so that if you or somebody you know or love has been charged with a crime out of South Mountain, you know a little bit more about how it works. So let's dive into it. So as I mentioned, the court's jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means the geographic area over which this court has authority, or they have control. And when we're talking about South Mountain, it looks like this. So you can see here the borders of this court's jurisdiction are highlighted in yellow, and in the major freeways that are passing through there are highlighted in pink, the I-10 and the 143. And so this court is a justice court. It's a Maricopa County court. It's not a city court. So it's predominantly patrolled by the Maricopa County Sheriff's officers and the Department of Public Safety. And so what we see are traffic-related crimes. They are patrolling the freeways, the I-10 and the 143 there. And so the types of crimes that we see are going to be listed here: DUIs, criminal speeding, reckless driving, suspended license charges, and other traffic-related offenses. Covers a part of the I-10 and the 143, and so those are major freeways. If you're from Arizona, you know those are major freeways. A lot of people are passing through there, so we see a lot of people stopped and cited in those different parts of the court's jurisdiction. So if the police actually stop you and cite you with one of those offenses, what happens next? Well, that's going to go over to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. They are the ones who are responsible for prosecuting the crimes out of this court. MCAO is what we call them, is an abbreviation. It's a very big agency. There are a lot of prosecutors who are working for that agency. They cover 26 different justice courts within Maricopa County, as well as all of the major felonies that are happening in Maricopa County. So they're very, very busy. And what that means practically for you or somebody you know or love, if they've been charged, is that because it's such a big agency, they don't have a lot of discretion. They don't have a lot of authority to give you a good deal. Some people will call us and they'll think, well, I'll just go into court. I'll talk to the prosecutor. This is my first offense. I should be able to get this dropped, right? Fortunately, it doesn't work like that, especially out of South Mountain. When you go into court, you're going to be speaking with prosecutors who have to follow the policies that are set by their bosses. So they're set at the top, and those policies will trickle down. Eventually, they'll end up in the prosecutor's hands, who is working out of South Mountain. And what that means is they can't really do much of anything. They can't give you a deal. They don't have a lot of discretion unless you give them good cause, unless you give them very good reason to deviate, to break that policy. And that's where we come into play as defense attorneys. We're able to identify the issues that are going to cause problems with the government's case. We're going to be able to present certain arguments that you're not going to be able to present unless you go to law school and pass the bar and do all sorts of research and those types of things. But we are more equipped to actually make those arguments. And so that's why you get a lot of benefit by hiring a defense attorney. Now, once the case is filed in court, you're going to have to also be dealing with the judge of this court. And this judge is Cody Williams. Cody Williams is somebody who has a huge resume. He's been around for a long time, has a lot of different accomplishments, and so we're just going to highlight a few of them. But first of all, Cody Williams, he's not a licensed lawyer. He's not somebody who went to law school or passed the bar, took a bar exam, or got a bar number. That's okay. Doesn't mean he's a good judge or a bad judge. It just means he doesn't have some of the same training that I have or that the prosecutor will have in your case. If you go in it alone, it's going to be a prosecutor with all that legal training, and you, and then this judge. So that's the sort of the nature of this court's jurisdiction. Just right away, the judge is not a licensed attorney, but as I said, a ton of experience doing a lot of other things. So he served on the Phoenix City Council for 8 years, from 1994 to 2002. He was somebody who was inducted into the Arizona Democratic Hall of Fame, somebody who is highly recognized. He's got a background in finance, worked as a stockbroker. He's just been recognized all across the board in a number of different areas, some of those listed here. He's also somebody who owns a consulting firm, so he does seem to be very busy. So he's got, if you look up his resume or his bio with the Maricopa County Attorneys, the Maricopa County Justice Courts, you'll see it's huge. It's very long. It's one of the longest ones that we have seen with all the different judges, but he's very, very busy. He's doing a lot of different things. And so what that means for us is we don't see him in court a whole lot. When he's not in court, we see what are called pro tem judges. So we see judges they're basically temporary judges. They're filling in for him. So we don't see Cody Williams a lot, Judge Williams a whole lot, but that's all right. You know, he's allowed to run his court the way he wants to run his court. Now, one interesting thing about Judge Williams is his wife, Jerry Williams, is the City of Phoenix police chief. So she's the highest ranking officer in the city of Phoenix. You can take that to mean what you want it to mean. You have a judge who's married to a police chief. You might be inclined to think that maybe he's biased one way or the other. I don't see any evidence of that, neither do any of our attorneys here. We haven't seen any evidence of him being overly biased one way or the other, but it always gives you pause when you have a judge who's got very close connections to somebody in law enforcement. Something to consider when you're deciding whether you want to notice this judge or file a request to change this judge. It may be something you want to take into account, but as I said, based on our experience, we haven't seen much unnecessary or undue bias one way or the other. He's pretty reasonable court to deal with. His court is pretty reasonable, usually is okay on things like continuances or requests to move court dates around to accommodate schedules. Pretty reasonable guy. So if you or somebody that you know or love has been charged out of this court and you want to speak with our team about it, give us a call. We offer free case evaluations. We'll have you come in, we'll sit down, we will review the facts of your case, make sure you understand how it's going to work out of South Mountain, but then more importantly, make sure that you have a plan so you know how this is going to go moving forward and how we can help make this all go away. So give us a call. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks for watching.